Hello, YouTube. Oh, my thingy body's not very clean. I don't know if I can. Actually, that'll be alright. Should be okay. Okay. Right, that's better. Hey, so you can see me a bit clearer now. Okay, so let me just get Instagram fired up and then that's it. Then we can get on with it. Which is great. So it's just checking my connection. I really hope that my broadband can take me dual live stream in all these different places. So I'm dual live streaming in 3 different places. So hopefully it will be okay. Right, so let me just get my microphone on. And then we can get started. So, okay. So that's that pause now. So greetings. Greetings everybody. Greetings. My name is June Allen from juneallen.net and I teach black women how to heal from addiction to self-hate with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So, today's topic, obviously it's the 1st of December today. So as soon as we hit that December mark, it's all about, obviously it happens before then, but as soon as it hits December, it's all about the holidays. People are thinking about the holidays, planning the holidays, having conversations about the holidays, buying for the holidays, what they're going to do, this, that, social. All of those conversations keep coming up. So, yeah, and I'm also starting to get people contacting me and also talking about, as well as all the, the stuff that people enjoy about this time of year, there's also a lot of people that find it very, very difficult at this time of year. And so it was important for me to do this live because I really wanted to give people the opportunity to talk about what their challenges are and to provide some tools and solutions for you all to have a really good holiday time. So before I get into the content, I'm just going to go through a bit of housekeeping with you all. So the housekeeping I've got for you, let's have a look. So next Saturday, the 8th of December, is the Sacred Sister Book Club, the Bell Hooks Book Club. I am so enjoying that. I'm so enjoying it. And just having the opportunity to be able to work with ladies and to start to do a lot of the internal work with them, in a group setting, is such a beautiful experience. And I'm really, really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. And it's been really good. It's been fun. It's been connecting. There's a lot of connecting going on. Then there's also a lot of processing going on as well. A lot of aha moments, and it's great. It's great to seeing the ladies that are that come regularly. It's great seeing them, come on a regular basis. So yeah, so the not the housekeeping. So the book club has been really, really great. It's been really, really great. And so that's happening this Saturday. It's not just an ordinary book club. It's a book club where we learn the text, which is the text is Bell Hooks Sisters of the Yam. And if you click the link in the bio, there is another link that will take you to the Sacred Sister page. So you'll have the opportunity to have a look, and it will, it breaks down the sort of things that we talk about. And also what you learn in those sessions is you learn about the characteristics of self-hate. You'll also learn about the tools for empowerment and the promises of sacred self-love, because I didn't want it to be just a book club where we just read the text, we have a chat about it, and then we go home. I wanted it to be something that was a lot more, that we go a little bit deeper. So after we've read the text and we've had the actual session itself, you also get heart work or homework. So you get like a series of questions that I've pulled out of each chapter. We only read one chapter in the actual session itself, so you don't need to read the book or anything before you come. So yes, you get an opportunity to actually answer questions, and that's to help you through your own process while you're actually reading the book. There's also a free Facebook group and also a WhatsApp group if you're not on social media. So you get the opportunity to continue the conversation. If you don't actually live in the UK and you can't attend live, I am actually recording some reflections from the workshop as well, which you can now get online, which is really good. So you get that, you get the hot work questions, and you also get you're going to be getting two audios that go with it. One which is kind of talking you through the questions, and then there'll be another follow-up audio which gets delivered into your. It depends on how you do it actually, but the second audio is going to be whatever stuff comes up during the live session, the live workshop. People get the opportunity to ask questions and stuff like that, and then the second audio is answering a lot of those questions. Anything that comes up during the session, I record those, and people have an opportunity to to have those questions answered at a much deeper level. Excuse me. So yeah, so don't worry if you're not actually available to come live to the session. You do have an opportunity to get the audios as well. So all of that stuff, if you go to heal.juneallen.net, you will be able to get all of that information there. So that is the book club, which is happening next Saturday. It is a Black women only event as well, so that keeps the space nice and safe as well, which is great. And it's 5 minutes from Bond Street Tube. So if you're in London, come and hang out with us. Come and hang out with us next Saturday. Number two, the second thing that I wanted to talk about with your housekeeping is recently was my 50th birthday. Yes, I know you don't think I'm 50. Yes, I know I don't look it. Yes, I know I look fabulous at 50. But what I did is when I tell people that I'm 50, people always say, "Oh, I don't believe you." The people demanded to see driving license, all that kind of stuff, because I don't believe that I'm 50. Well, yes, I am 50. But what I did is I've created something that answers all of those questions. Types of things I eat. What are the types of things that have kept me looking this young? What's my wellness regime? What are the lessons that I've learned? What are the books that have kind of that have kept me going over the years? And the ones that have really had an impact on my life and stuff like that. My favorite live streams that I've recorded with you all about self-love. There's so many different things in there. So there's 50 different things. Yeah. And that's on offer at the moment. It's on offer. The full price is 50, but not for today. You can get it for, for a while. At the moment, it's on at £25. So if you go to click the link in the bio, heal.juneallen.net, you can get your, you can get that there. You can get that there. So yeah, I really loved creating that because it was fun. It was fun. So the third thing that I want to talk to you about in terms of housekeeping is that I am going to be recording a lot more stuff over the next few weeks around boundaries in the holidays, struggles that people are having. So if you've got any issues that you want me to address, then you can DM me or email me info@yardofgreatness.com and let me know what your struggles are. I've already got a few things already under my belt that I'm going to be talking about. Next Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about how one of the questions that I was asked was, as a black woman, how can I heal with other black women when I'm so triggered by them? How am I gonna be able to do that? And this is something that not only does it come up, during the holiday conversations. Hi Candice, lovely to see you. It doesn't just come up in terms of the holiday conversations, but also, sorry, I just felt like I was a little bit too far from the cameras, but also just generally, how can I heal with other black women when I'm so triggered by black women? Because and this lady in particular was asking me this question. As a biracial woman, she was bullied by other black women. So she struggled with it. She really struggled with it. I'm gonna have to plug in this thing, so it's gonna cut out. Yeah, she really struggled with that conversation. Sorry, just excuse me a minute. Ah, there we go. Okay. Nearly lost Instagram there. Yeah, so next Tuesday I'm going to be talking specifically about how can you heal as a black woman when you're really triggered by them. And then on Wednesday I'm going to be talking about, how to deal with set boundaries with family members during the holiday season. That was something that came up quite a lot as well with the ladies. They wanted me to talk about that. So I'm going to be doing that on Wednesday. So if you're watching this on the replay, whether you're watching it live, make sure you set you turn on your notifications, and so you can you know when I'm going to be going live. It's probably, well, I won't say the time because it might change next week. Just make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when I'm going live. So that is the housekeeping for today. So yes, if you want any more information about any of that stuff, go to heal.juneallen.net. The link is in the bio. So, for those of you that have just joined, and for those of you that don't know me, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach Black women how to heal from addiction to self-hate with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So, today's topic is all about 3 ways that, yeah, 3 core holiday triggers and how you can manage them, how you can manage the triggers with self-love. So let's get into the content. So the reason I wanted to do this is, this is the first one, is that this time of year is always so manic. It's always so manic. People shopping, even if you watch, when you go on the TV, everybody's like, buy now. Your auntie wants this. Your dad wants that. You need to buy it now. It's on special offer. If you don't get it today, it's going to be gone tomorrow. Get this, get that. If you don't do this, then the subtext is, if you don't buy this, then you're tight. If you don't buy that, then you're not really celebrating Christmas. There's all of these, everything just feels, really manic. All the retailers are trying to get your attention and are constantly, aggressively, marketing whatever products they've got because they want you to buy all their stuff. They want you to buy all of their stuff. And then what happens as a result of that, it can sort of trigger, it can trigger your low self-esteem. It can trigger, feelings of not feeling good enough, because you feel like you can't meet all of these expectations. You can't meet all of these to go to all of the places and to have this fantasy, holiday period. And so it can make you feel a bit sad. It can make you feel a bit depressed about the whole thing if you don't feel like you can live up to those expectations, and that can be really, this time of year can actually bring on depression. It can bring on depression for a lot of people because there is so much pressure to do certain things and to be a certain way and to just to kind of live into this fantasy that is kind of built around this whole time of year. And it's not good. So, I always advise people around this time of year is to just really give yourself permission to get quiet. Give yourself permission to really get quiet at this time of year so that you can start to become a lot more mindful about the impact that all of this kind of manicness is having on you, and when you give yourself permission to just get quiet and just start to listen to yourself, think about how you're responding to it. When you watch TV and you've got all these adverts, or if you're going out on the streets or whatever, do you find, how do you respond to the energy? How do you respond to the energy? I find it quite exhausting. I don't know anybody else. Anybody else find it exhausting? Raise your hand if you find it exhausting going out and about at this time of year, people rushing about. I find that people in shops and things tend to be a lot more rude. They just seem to have no patience. They just seem to have no patience around this sort of thing, and it just makes it hard to kind of go about your business. Yeah, Candice agrees. Yeah, it's tough. It's really hard. It's really hard to be going about your business at this time of year when you're trying to, and I think, this time I think a lot of people have kind of lost the art of what the holiday period is about. And I think the retailers and stuff like that have kind of taken over. And it's just become so aggressive that sometimes it's hard to sit and think. It's hard to think, actually, what do I really want from this time of year? What do I really need from this time of year? Who do I really want to spend time with at this time of year? Rather than just being bombarded with all of this stuff and then feeling overwhelmed, because there is so much there to think about, to talk about, to organise. There's so much stuff there. And so it just becomes something it just becomes a trigger fest. Truth be told, this time of year just becomes a trigger fest. So when we take the time to start being a lot more mindful about our response to this time of year and how it actually impacts us, do we get anxiety? Do we feel like we just want to shut the whole thing down and just isolate and not do anything. When we start to really think about the impact that it's having on us, that's when we can really start to make changes about, okay, well, what do I want my holiday period to look like? Instead of being controlled by all the external things telling you what you should be doing at this time of year, what do you actually want? What do you actually want out of this time of year? And give yourself permission to, I always like to schedule time for plan to plan, if that makes sense. What I mean when I say that is, there's a difference between, you have to schedule a time where you're going to be able to plan things. That's kind of what I mean, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to, saying that you're going to do something and actually scheduling out the time when you're actually going to do it is another thing. Hi, thanks for joining. So it's important to be able to schedule that time out. Plan when you are going to plan out your holiday times. Plan when you're going to do that. If Christmas or I know Thanksgiving is gone, but whatever you celebrate during the holiday time, if this is a really triggering time for you, make some time now while it's just at the beginning of December, before you're getting overwhelmed with all the invitations and stuff like that. Make that time now to be able to think about what you actually really do want out of it. And don't stop suppressing all of the feelings and or ignoring them and thinking that, oh, they don't matter, or maybe you're being silly or whatever. You're not. There's a reason why you feel anxiety and whatever around this stuff. And so give yourself permission to take some time out and be mindful and be intentional about what you want out of it. What do you actually want out of the holiday period? So the second trigger that's important to be aware of is isolation. And this kind of is linked into what I was saying before about the manicness and everything. Sometimes you just feel like you want to just shut down from everything because there is so much pressure. And half the time, sometimes you get pressure from the people that you don't even want to really spend time with, to be honest with you. It's funny because, one of the things that I find really difficult about this time of year is that you get invitations to go out drinking and, people want you to go out to, to pubs or whatever. They want you to go out and socialise and whatever. And I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. And I don't like being around drunk people. Real talk. I don't like being around drunk people. And there's been so many occasions in my past where I've ended up going to these events, particularly if it's corporate events, Christmas parties or whatever. There's always that person who thinks, they've had a few drinks. I'm gonna see if June's up for it this evening. And their hands are a bit too wandery, or they try and kiss me, or try and do weird. It's just not acceptable. And so I kind of made the decision a few years ago that, I'm not going to go to these things because, honestly, every time I go to one of these events and people are drinking and I end up staying too late and having conversations with these people, something happens, or somebody tries something on and I just end up getting annoyed. I end up getting angry and I end up leaving early. If there is a situation where I do want to go to these events, my boundary now is that I go early and I leave early. I leave early before people get too pissed, basically, because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with people's nonsense. And I've had so many experiences where people have done stuff like that, and it's just boring. It's tiring, and it's a violation. It's a violation of my body. I'm not going to go there and just have people doing that. I'm just not interested in that. So, these are the types of things that are important. I know now, for me, I've got my own boundaries in place around the holidays about what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and I'm not going to make any apologies for it. I know what works for me now. I know what makes me feel comfortable around these things. What makes me feel comfortable is either to not go at all, or if I do go, is to go early and leave early. That's the boundary that I have around a lot of the social events. And I'm also a lot more choosy about the events that I go to now, because I'm quite time poor anyway. I'm a mum. I've got this work that I do as well, which I absolutely love. But it takes time and energy to do this work. And so I, the time that I have, the free time that I have, I want to spend that time with people that, that are nurturing. I want to spend that time with people that I care about. I want to spend that time with people that when I know it's going to be quality time where I'm going to have fun. I don't just want to end up at these events just because somebody asked me to go and I feel guilty and I should do it and all the rest of it. I'm not into none of that. I'm just not doing the people pleasing thing anymore. I'm too old, and I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it anymore. And I love the fact now that I'm so clear about where those boundaries are, and that I really don't make any apologies for it. I really don't. And so, yeah, I know now that when people are starting to ask me to these things and whatever, I'm just very clear now about which ones I will go to, which ones I won't. And that's okay. And that's okay. And you have the right to make those decisions for yourself also. Hi, YouTube. Thanks for joining. You have the right to make those decisions for yourself also. It's important that you do that, and the thing around number 2, around the isolation and stuff as well. The isolation, there's a danger that you can go too much the other way. You can go from, saying no to all the social things to end up not doing anything at all. And I think that, you don't have, the thing is what about this time of year is that just being honest with yourself, you don't have to celebrate this time of year the way everybody else does, because everyone else is doing it. You can do it as how it feels comfortable for you, in the sense that, I don't, I kind of made a choice now where, I don't celebrate Christmas in the traditional way that people do. I don't take my daughter to go and see Santa and all that kind of stuff. I'll talk about that more in the third one, but I have my own rituals that I have now around this time of year. I like to do solstice. I like to go to a lot of the events around Kwanzaa. I like to go to a lot of there's a lot of black business fairs and things like that I like to go to as well. And these are the things I use this time of year as a way to kind of connect to my community, and as a way to to kind of do cultural nourishment. Cultural nourishment is very important for this time of year for me. And it's an opportunity for me to connect to people that I haven't seen for a long time. And that feels really, really good. That feels really, really good to be able to do that. So, it's about creating your holiday period for how it feels comfortable for you, and don't allow yourself to get, sidetracked or whatever into what everybody else is doing. You really don't have to do that. And just get used to saying no. It's okay to say no to people. This is a great opportunity at this time of year to practice how to say no. Practice saying no to people. Hi, thanks for those who joined on Instagram. It's great to be asked, to go to events and things like that. But just because somebody asks you, it doesn't mean you have to say yes. Just remember that when you say no to other people, you're saying yes to yourself. Yeah, this is about self-love as well. This is another opportunity at this time of year to practice your self-love skills, and saying no to other people is important. It's an important part of that process. Learning to say no to other people and saying yes to yourself, so that you can put yourself at the top of the list at this time of year, and not just it being about everybody else. You're not responsible for everybody else's feelings. You're not responsible for making everybody else's holiday period what they want it to be. It's about what you want. You are part of that conversation also. So put yourself in that space. Put yourself in that conversation. Don't just allow other people to dictate how your holiday period should go. This is your holiday time also. And part of that for me is another opportunity to celebrate my blackness, to celebrate, the people in my circle, to show gratitude to them. I like to focus more on presence, as in how you feel, rather than presence as in what you give to people, if that makes sense. Yeah? Did you get that? So you focus more on the presence, how you feel, and creating memories and all of that kind of stuff, rather than buying things, because that the whole buying thing and all of those, that can take you down a whole different rabbit hole. The whole thing around spending money on people, and should I get it for that person, and how much am I going to spend, and am I going to get in debt, and well, she got me one and I don't want to buy her one, and should I buy her one and should I not? Yeah, it's just, I put that aside years ago. I stopped doing all of that stuff years ago, and that's no disrespect to anybody that chooses to celebrate Christmas in the traditional way. That is your choice. But I'm putting it out there that there are alternative ways for you to celebrate this time of year, and also to bring back the whole thing around, this is a time for connection. This is a time for community. This is a time for for family. If you have a good relationship with your family and you want to spend time with them and you want to go and hang out with them, this is a perfect opportunity to do that. But I'm here to provide alternatives and to high five those people that might not want to celebrate it in the traditional way, and that some people might not be close to family members as they want to, that might not want to go around there for dinner because there might be an uncle that's got a bit free with his hands or whatever. You don't want to sit next to him. There's so many different ways to be able to do this, and I think it's important to have that conversation. To have that conversation with yourself, the honest conversation about the struggles at this time of year, and to say, actually, it's okay for me to say no, that I don't want to have those conversations, I don't want to be around certain people, and that I'm choosing to have a different type of holidays, because I want to be able to enjoy the holidays, because I want to enjoy it the way that I want to do it, and that is 100% okay. The other thing about isolation as well is this whole thing around being a martyr. You don't have to be a martyr around this stuff. You don't have to take on everything, all the expectations, and then, you have to have everybody around at your house and you have to cook for 50 people, so that you feel valued, and you don't have to do all of that. You don't have to do all of that, You can ask for help. Stop being the martyr. You can ask for help. Shop online. Under schedule. Go, okay, well, I don't have to have 50 people. Maybe I'll just have 5. Maybe I won't go to 12 parties. Maybe I'll just do 2. This is the time of year when there's so much excess. No wonder people are so depressed in January. No wonder so many people are depressed in January, because they've just gone over the top in December. They've spent too much. They've drank too much. They've eaten too much. They've spent too much time with people that trigger them. They've just completely abandoned their own needs. Completely abandoned their own needs in December, and so January just becomes it's a rock bottom for a lot of people, because they've got all the triggers that they've experienced in being around toxic family members or whatever. They've had the kind of afterburn of being around those people, and this happens in January. All the afterburn or whatever of being around those people, it comes to haunt you. You go, oh my gosh, that person really is crazy. Why do I do this to myself every year? Why am I allowing myself to be around these people every year when they're crazy? And now you're depressed. Now you're upset. Now you don't know what to do with yourself, and you're skint because you spent all your money. You're skint because you got in debt for it. So what's the point? The good news is, okay, that the holidays, they come round at the same time every year. So you can plan for next year. You can take what you've learned from this year, or think you've got an opportunity now to think about what happened last year, yeah, and start making plans today as to how you're going to avoid the drama that happened last year. If there's always drama at someone's house or auntie's house, either don't go, or just go for 5 minutes, go for half an hour. Set a boundary around it. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about this next Tuesday. I'm going to be talking more specifically around, how to deal with family members and stuff around the holiday period when it's, when it's hard, especially when it's close family and stuff like that. That is really, really hard. Let's have a look. Someone's put a question. Let's have a look. Can you talk more about meeting our own needs? Let me see. You're meeting our own needs. You talking about in terms of meeting your own needs over the holiday period? Be a bit more specific. I'm going to be. I think if I'm thinking rightly, I'm assuming that you're talking more about like understanding what your needs are and then how to go about it. Is that kind of what you mean? If it is, it's a case of, being intentional about what your needs are. And you can do that, like what I just said, is in referencing what happened last year. Think about how you felt last year. That's how you can really start to think about meeting your needs. You know, think about what happened last year. Okay, great. So yeah, you're talking about the happiness. Think about what happened last year over the holiday period. How did you feel? Not what did you do. Think about how you felt last year. How did you feel individually? How did you feel about yourself? And what are the people that you spent time with last year? How did you feel when you were around certain people? Did you feel happy? Did you feel appreciated? Did you feel seen? Did they make you feel ashamed of who you are? Were you sort of, watching your clock thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. I need to go. How did you feel? When you start to get clear about how you feel around the holiday period, that's going to help you make the choices about what you're going to do this year. Write it down. Write it out. Write out the things that really made you feel good about yourself last year. Write down the names of the people that made you feel really good about yourself last year. And then you can start to put a plan in place as to how you're going to connect with those people again. What can you do this year with those people, with those same people, to make sure that your holiday period does not turn into some sort of people pleasing trigger fest? That is really important. But again, I'm going to be talking about that a lot more on next Tuesday, when I'm talking specifically about how to deal with family members and people that are close to you, where you feel like you don't really want to spend time with them, or for whatever reason, that you just at the end of the day, it's not happening. It's not happening for you. Let's have a look. Last year, I spent time alone. I walked away from my family, and I felt sad but lonely. I felt sad but lonely. Oh my gosh, yeah, I so identify with that. I really identify with that, because people have really, really got, the certain way of how this year should be done. Do you know what? I will tell you something. I had, there was one Christmas. My daughter normally goes to her dad on Christmas Day, because I don't do the whole Santa thing. I don't really don't. So my daughter normally goes to her dad's, but I do Kwanzaa. I tend to big up Kwanzaa a lot more. And you know what? I just went to bed on Christmas Day. I actually just went to bed, and it was nice. It was nice because I had an opportunity to. One of the things that I love about that time of year, especially not so much the lead up to Christmas, but actually on Christmas Day itself, because everything's so peaceful. Everything's so peaceful and everything's so quiet. And I just feel like my brain can kind of can calm down a lot. So I found it. Yeah, I find Christmas Day quite good, in the sense that I just get to sleep, I get to rest, I get to do whatever. Sometimes I might, go around to friends or whatever in the afternoon to get something to eat or whatever. I tend to meet up with a lot of my recovery friends and stuff now, during this time of year, which is something that I started doing, 3 or 4 years ago, which is really beautiful. Like, they're some of the best Christmases I've had, actually. Some of the best holidays I've had, even though I don't really celebrate it as such. Just going to hang out with them and just chatting stuff, and sometimes we watch movies and stuff like that. There's been some of the nicest times, because I've actually started to make conscious choices about who I want to spend time with, who I really want to spend time with. And in making those choices about who I choose to spend time with, I found that I didn't feel so isolated. It's about picking a family of choice. It's about picking a family of choice, and then allowing that family of choice to help to nurture this time of year. There's always going to be, just kind of answering what you were saying about the sadness and the loneliness. There is always going to be, a certain level of grief that happens around this time of year, or sadness around this time of year, because there is still that part of you. And obviously with all the TV and the everybody else, in their fantasy around Christmas and all the rest of it, there is going to be a certain amount of sadness that's going to happen around that, because it's something that you've not been allowed to experience, and something that you've not been allowed to be part of. For whatever reason, you've not been allowed to, it's not safe for whatever reason for you to be part of that thing. So yes, it really is about picking a family of choice, about spending that time and giving yourself permission to do that. Because a lot of people feel guilty. A lot of us feel guilty about spending time with a family of choice. But seriously, it changed my whole thing around this time of year when I started doing that. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, this is my take on it. Yeah, this is my take on the whole Christmas thing. Is that if I don't see people, like, there are certain people in my life, yeah, that have nurtured me, that have had my back, that have pulled me up when I'm not feeling great, that have pulled me up when I've been doing things that might be a bit shady or whatever, that have actually that have really nurtured me, and that have taken their time to help me and support me. Why am I then going to spend time over the holiday period spending time with people that I don't see that often? That doesn't make sense to me. Especially people that maybe I don't have that much in common with, people that are triggering, people that I just don't connect with them. I don't understand why all of a sudden we kind of go into this whole fantasy around thinking that we should spend time with certain family members or certain people that just no good for us for whatever reason. And it's okay. It might be that it's not that they're not good for us, but you just don't. They're just not who you are. You don't have the same values or whatever it is. So for me, it's about spending time with the people that I don't always get to spend time with during the year, that have supported me, that I really want to spend time with. That's the way I look at it. I want to spend time with those people who have helped me, that have supported me, that have had my back, that do take the time. It's my opportunity to sit down with them, have a herbal tea, drink some sorrel. Do you know what I mean? And just say to them, oh my God, thank you so much for being there for me this year. That's how I see it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Thank you so much for your feedback on that thing that I was struggling with. Thank you so much for all the hearts on Instagram, actually. It's lovely seeing the hearts. Thank you so much for supporting my business. Thank you so much for mentoring me. That's what I think for me, that's what this time of year is about. Because in a way, the people that have the biggest impact on us are not the people they're not always blood family. Real talk. The people that have the biggest influence on us is not always our family. And I think that's just the fantasy. I think with the media and TV and all the rest of it, they build up all this fantasy, like they put you in this box. If you celebrate Christmas, this is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to see these people that you're related to. You're supposed to, buy presents for all of these people. Your family of origin, your blood family. You're supposed to hang out with them. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Yeah, but that doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody is in a position to be able to do that. And I'm here to cheer on those people that don't have the opportunity to do that. And it's okay that you don't want to do that. I'm here to say it's okay. And that you can actually spend time with those people that have actually, that have been there for you. That have been there for you throughout the year. That's what I want to do. I'm going to be sending more gratitude cards this year. I don't send Christmas cards. I send cards of gratitude. If I can't see him, then I send cards of gratitude. To me, that's more important, to say thank you to these people. Not just send some old dry Christmas card with, season's greetings. What's the point in that? You're just giving the post office your money, and sometimes it feels so insincere. just to send a Christmas card for what? Okay, people know that you're thinking about them, but there's nothing. Let's have an honest conversation. Yeah, a lot of the times the Christmas cards don't say anything. To so and so, happy Christmas from whatever. What for? Because Tesco say that you have to go and buy Christmas cards? Because the media said that you have to buy Christmas cards and send them out? We put ourselves under so much pressure over the holiday period to do all of these things. And it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I'm going to challenge you. Listen, I'm going to challenge you. If you really want to send something, just go to the post office or go to your local stationery place. Just go and buy some really nice paper, some writing paper, okay? And write a letter. Write a letter to those people that have really, really had your back this year. Write a letter to them and say thank you. Because I'm telling you now, that person is going to appreciate that a lot more than a Christmas card that's just dropped for the letterbox saying to so and so, happy Christmas from whoever. Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of us don't even write handwritten letters anymore. You know, we're so used to sending emails and all the rest of it. To actually I get excited if I get a handwritten letter in the post. I don't know about anybody else. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just because I'm getting old. But I get excited when I see a handwritten letter that comes through the post. I really do. And I just think we've lost the art of you know, people talk a lot about gratitude. People talk a lot about gratitude. I'm grateful for, you know, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. But being grateful to people is so important. Expressing that. Being intentional about it. Not just people, but businesses as well. What businesses have you used over the year that have really helped you? Send them a letter. Send them a letter. Drop them a line. Especially like if it's a black business that might be struggling, or you know that there's been really great with their customer service or whatever. Just drop them a note. Drop them a note and tell them how much you appreciate their services and how. And because a lot of time, you know, people are so, especially us as black people, so quick to complain and moan and cuss people and drag people, as they say on the internet. So quick to drag people around, you know, when people are doing stuff that. Yes, Sister Sense. I'm gonna be sending her one. Yes, all the people in our lives that have contributed to our greatness this year. Send them a message. Send them a love note. Write to them, send them a handwritten letter and tell them how much you mean to them, because that is just going to make such a difference. Such a difference than just sending the same old dry card that you send out every year. Let's have, you know, real talk. The same old dry Christmas card that you're going to be sending out next year. And you know, you're only going to put it in the bin. Let's be honest. You're going to look at it, you're going to put it on the mantelpiece, so your mantelpiece, you know, fulfills the fantasy of Christmas fantasy. You've got loads of Christmas cards. Oh, I'm really loved because I've got loads of Christmas cards. But do you know half the people that gave you those Christmas cards? Do you actually have a relationship with those people? Do you actually have a fulfilling relationship with those people that sent you those Christmas cards? Or does it just look good on your mantelpiece? Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah... It's about being intentional and understanding your why, understanding why you're celebrating, you know, these rituals around this time of year. What is it doing for you and what is it doing for those you love? And not falling into the stereotypes. You know, this is number 3 now. I've went off on a tangent there for a minute, but the third trigger around this time of year is shame. The third trigger around this time of year is shame. And I say that to say this, yeah, because, and this is one of the main reasons why I don't I don't celebrate a white Christmas anymore. Because, you know, you white Santa, you know, you have a white Christmas, everything's white. And as a black parent, one of the reasons why I've never been into the whole Santa Claus thing with my daughter anyway. But one of the reasons why I've never done it with my daughter is because I work hard, right? I work really, really hard throughout the year to give my daughter what she has. Yeah. So at the end of the year, why am I then going to tell my daughter, my black child, that a white man comes down the chimney and gives her everything that she's dreamed of? You understand? You get me? Why am I going to tell my black child that a white man comes down the chimney and gives my child everything that she's dreamed of? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And that's no disrespect to anybody that chooses to, do all that stuff. That's your business. But I'm just saying, I become a lot more intentional about doing this stuff, about a lot more intentional about why I'm doing certain rituals, because that to me, that's kind of like, for me, that's kind of an undertone of racism in that, like me as a black parent, I can't give my child any of these things. So I have to tell her that a white man has to come and only a white man can come and give it to her on the 25th of December. A white man comes and does it. And apart from anything else as well, another thing that can be quite triggering, I find quite triggering around this time of year, is that, all the white baby Jesus everywhere. White baby Jesus here, white baby Jesus there. And if you're lucky, if you look at these nativity places, these nativity scenes, you might get one black king. You get one black king that's kind of round the side that's giving one of the gifts ever to the white baby Jesus. But all of that stuff, it just adds to the whole thing around, why am I doing it? Why am I taking part in all of this? When at the end of the day, I'm not Christian either. Anyway, I'm not Christian. And no disrespect to anybody that is. I'm just sharing, my experience around this stuff. But yeah, I'm not Christian. And at the end of the day, if all of this stuff is, the whole thing around Jesus is supposed to be true and all the rest of it, he was born in North Africa. He ain't going to be white. And in Revelations, it says that he had hair like wool and skin like burnt brass. So why is baby Jesus white anyway? Do you know what I mean? So there's all of these little things that kind of add to the whole thing around, that becomes part of the trigger at this time of year. And that can sometimes, become part of the whole shaming thing around, you're not good enough. You have to do the Christmas rituals the way, so it's a proper white Christmas. To me, that's all part of having a white Christmas, is doing all of that stuff as well, So, and if you're not if you're not being triggered by the shame around all of the stuff around, what Christmas is supposed to be and all the rest of it, then there's the whole thing around being around family members and stuff that might trigger shame, the relationship stuff, the people that, that trigger feelings in you, that you find difficult. And so Alexa says, my experience is different from yours. I would love to discuss how I healed one day on June. Thank you. Yeah, no, that would be great to do that. That would be great to do that at some point, Yeah, it'd be good, because obviously I'm going to be doing a lot more lives and stuff over the next couple of weeks specifically around the holidays and stuff. So if you've got stuff that you want to chat about, that would be really good to talk about that. So inbox me and let me know, there's types of stuff that you want to talk about. But yeah, so so the whole thing around shame and the whole thing around Christmas being racist, or elements of it being showing racism and all of that kind of stuff, it's important for us to just be kind to yourself. Just be really, really, really kind to yourself around this time of year, because there's so much expectation and there's so much so much stuff around family and being in places that maybe you feel that you can't say no, and it kind of triggers codependency. Like I'm going to feel really bad if I don't do this with that person, or I should do this and I should do that, and I have to do this and I have to buy that. It triggers all the codependency stuff at this time of year. So, it is really, really important to just really be kind to yourself. And when I say that, I mean, give yourself permission to think about what really is going to work for you at this time of year. And, give yourself permission from now to start thinking about these things. Really start to think about these things, and be honest with yourself about how people make you feel, and put yourself in the conversation. Don't just think about what everybody else wants. Think about what is really going to work for you. Think about what is really going to work for you, because you are just as important. It's important that you enjoy this part of this time of the year, just like everybody else. This is all part of the self-love conversation. You deserve to be loved just like everybody else. Ultimately, everybody wants to have a happy time at this time of year. Everybody wants to be surrounded by people that they love. Okay? But if you don't love them, you don't have to go. Or if they make you feel a certain way, you don't have to go just because they want it. Think about what you want. And be kind to yourself. Be really, really kind to yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe anybody anything. So make yourself a promise that you are going to be more kind to yourself around this stuff. If you need to have a safe space to be able to share a lot of this stuff, book an extra session with your therapist if you need to, because of this time of year. Come to the workshop. The workshop I'm going to be doing on Saturday. It's an opportunity for ladies to be able to share their experience around, what's troubling them. The book club is it's a fabulous experience for women to come and, number one, to learn about, whatever chapter we're studying in the book. That's one part of it. But we also talk and learn about lots of other things as well. And we talk about the characteristics of self-hate. We talk about the tools for empowerment, and we talk about the promises of sacred self-love. And loving yourself around this time of year is all part of that conversation. So if you want some tools, if you want to be around other people that, a lot of the ladies that are that do come to the workshop regularly, a lot of us do experience difficulties in our families. They do experience, a lot of pain and grief, and they feel triggered around this time of year, because a lot of times, they don't have that Christmas family fantasy that the media loves to portray. So it's difficult. And so, one of the things that's really beautiful about that space in the workshop is that, they're heard. Their experiences are heard, and they're seen and witnessed by other people that are having similar experiences. And being in a space where other people are having similar experiences is very, very healing, because the first thing people, want to say when, you don't fit into that box of what it means to have a happy family Christmas is, oh, you need to forgive. You need to just get on with it. You need to, it's Christmas. Yeah. You need to just come over. It's all right. So don't worry about so-and-so and all of that, and you end up abandoning yourself. You end up abandoning yourself because for the 100th time, you just think, oh, maybe it's going to be different this year. But it ain't going to be no different. Your fantasy is telling you that it will be different this year, but in your heart it ain't going to be no different. The same people that are there who are free with their hands and don't respect your body boundaries, the creepy people, they're still going to be at those events. Yeah? So you get to choose. You make a decision about whether you're going to go to that event or not. And, or you don't have to part with it. You don't have to part with any nonsense. You get to choose. You get to choose. Yeah? So think about what support you need. Think about what support you need. The workshop is on Saturday, the 8th of December. The link is in the bio. If you go to heal.juneallen.net. If you don't live in London and you're not able to attend, it's 5 minutes from Bond Street Tube, by the way, if you do live in London. If you're not able to attend the workshop, or you don't live in London, or you don't live in the UK at all, there is still an opportunity for you to get access to audios. What I do is I record a couple of audios. One of them is related to what I call heart work or homework. When we only read one chapter per session, and as part of the actual experience as well, I create heart work. I dig out questions from the chapter So people can go home and then they can write about certain things in their journal. So it continues the process for them, and it allows them to start to explore how they feel about what they read in the chapter beyond the actual workshop itself. So we continue that conversation. There's also a private Facebook group, so we can continue that conversation. Or if you're not online, there's a private WhatsApp group, so we can continue those conversations and we can support each other. And there's some beautiful relationships that are being built in those spaces now, because of the ladies that have come to a few of the workshops and starting to get to know each other and stuff like that. So the workshop is a really powerful place, not just in the actual experience itself, but afterwards. So don't think that just because you can't attend the actual workshop itself that you can't be part of that experience. So if you go to heal.juneallen.net and click the link that takes you to the Sister Circle page, that will all of the details about how you can get hold of the audios and stuff like that is all on that page. So yeah, it's really important to be clear about the support and stuff that you need around this time of year, because it is triggering. It can be painful. And you need to have a safe space to be able to do that. And like I was saying before, if you need to book an extra session with your therapist, by all means do that. By all means do that. Yeah? So has anybody got any other questions? I'm just going to run through the 3 things again. So the title of the broadcast, for those of you that have kind of joined, there's been quite a few people that have joined on Instagram and on YouTube as well. The broadcast was about 3 core triggers that happen over the holiday period and what to do about it. So the 3 triggers are the manic behavior, the manic time, the whole thing around the shopping and all the rest of it. That can be very, very triggering. And the solution to that is to create space for mindfulness, create space to slow down, create space to underschedule, so you can really start to think about what is going to work for you. What are you going to do that's going to reduce that anxiety? How can you keep it simple? How can you make your holiday period simple? Yeah. The second trigger is isolation. When you're bombarded with all of this stuff, with all of these fantasies and expectations and party invitations, and you need to do this and you should do this and you should do that, quite a lot of times you want to shut down. You want to shut down altogether from doing it, because it just becomes overwhelming, and you want to isolate because it just becomes too much. Just remember that you don't have to do anything that is going to that is going to isolate, that is going to make you feel less than you need to be. You don't have to isolate yourself. You get to choose. If you choose what you want to do over the holiday period, then you don't have to isolate. Spend time with people that make you feel good about yourself. Spend time with people that empower you. Spend time with people that nurture you. Or if you're tired, spend time with yourself. Plan a nice bath. Go and get loads of snacks in. Get yourself some salt bath, some aroma, whatever it is. However you choose to spend your holiday time, you plan that out for yourself. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. I mean that in an empowering way, in a self-love way. Not putting yourself last on the list. Putting yourself at the top of the list, because you matter. As black women, it's so easy for us to let ourselves go and just do what everybody else wants. You don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. Don't isolate yourself around what everybody else is doing. Make yourself part of the conversation. Make yourself part of the conversation. And the last thing is shame. The last trigger is shame. You do not have to, engage in the whole thing around Christmas if you don't want to. You don't have to take your daughter to go, or your child to go and see White Santa if you don't want to. You do not have to go with the story around Santa coming the chimney, and you don't have to have a white Christmas if you don't want to. You can have a black one. You can have a cultural one. You can do Kwanzaa. You can go to your black event. You can do whatever you need to do, as long as it doesn't trigger shame. Don't do it out of shame. Don't do things because you think, oh, that person's going to think I'm really bad. Oh, I don't really want to do that because, so-and-so's going to think that I'm not really good enough. Instagram, I've got 2 minutes. It's going to cut me off. I'm nearly up within the hour. So, anyway, I've just run through the 3 things anyway. So we are coming to an end. So if you would like to join the workshop, or you would like to get the audios if you don't live in London, go to heal.juneallen.net. If you know someone who would be interested in this broadcast that needs to hear it, tag them, share them, send it to them in their message. Just share the love, share it out, because You know, it's important that self-love is part of that conversation around the holidays, and do not allow anybody to tell you what you should or should not be doing. Okay, you deserve to have a really great holiday as well. So for those of you that are on Instagram, thank you so much for joining me. I do not take for granted the fact that that you've chosen to spend time with me. It's been an absolute blast. I don't always do Instagram live, but actually the engagement has been really great on Instagram. So thank you for everybody. Thank you for all the hearts. Thank you for all the hearts, everybody. And click the notifications. Put your notifications on so you know when I'm going live next week. Actually, I might maybe do some more, but anyway, click the notifications because there's going to be a lot. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got 30 seconds left. I really, really appreciate it. So this is your sister in service signing off. Oh, lots of love. Thank you for the love, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next time. You take care. Bye Instagram. Okay, so Instagram is now gone. So for those of you that are on Facebook and or on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me as well. I really, really appreciate it. I really do hope that you have an amazing holiday period, however you choose to spend it. If you've got any questions or any feedback or anything that you want to share with me, or stuff that you want to chat about that you didn't get a chance to share with me today, you can DM me or email me info@yardofgreatness.com. If you think that Christmas is going to be quite a triggering thing for you and you need more one-on-one support, you can schedule a call with me at callme.juneallen.net. So hopefully I will see you at the workshop next Saturday. Click the link in the bio, heal.juneallen.net, and I will see you next time. Thank you, ladies, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.